Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and we're talking about Inhumans versus X-Men, issue number 0. Now, we're just going to call it IvX from this point on. I know it's kind of like a Pokemon variant. I just evolved my IvX, but anyway, we're going to stick with that for now. So, IvX 0. This is a very, very good issue 0. First off, I wasn't even expecting this to come out. All right, last week, you might have noticed I posted a preview for it. The minute that I found out that there was going to be a issue 0, I right away looked it up, and then within a couple minutes after that, I just posted the video. So I found out very shortly before I posted that. That was a very good, very welcome preview. As far as this is concerned, it's not quite a double-sized issue, but it's practically a double-sized issue. And that's great for a surprise issue 0. It gives you any background that you might have initially needed for it. On top of that, it also lets you know that she was, by she I mean Emma Frost, was actually training up her diamond form. She saw the quickness that Black Bolt was able to kill Scott with. So she's not going to play around with that anymore, and she figures that she's going to need to be able to turn into her diamond form in a heartbeat. So diamonds form. There was a scene where she actually cried while she was in her diamond form, and a diamond fell on the ground. And I'm thinking, this is the absolute greatest sugar mama on the face of the planet. Anyway, so there's a moment here where she gets to see the young Cyclops, and that's why she cries, and very heartwarming. Honestly, guys, as much as I've seen these two together, I swear the entire time for years that I saw these two together, because I only saw her as a homewrecker. Like, him and Jean were supposed to be the team. We're supposed to be, the thing. And I know there was the whole, the split of Jean and all that stuff. I know, believe me, I know my X-Men history. But I always saw it as Emma was cheating and manipulating Scott. Because she's always been in charge, right? She's always been the queen bee, ever since the Hellfire Club days, from the very early transitions of the new X-Men, the all new, all different X-Men, right? I mean, she's always been the queen bee, and here it is, she kind of, homewrecks, inserts herself in and kicks Jean out, and I always just saw her as a homewrecker. But after something like this, after I see her, like, maybe she's manipulating people still. I don't know. But honestly, man, like, after she kept the dream of Scott alive afterwards and gave him a much nobler death, if that's what she was actually trying to do, then, man, she really might be just, like, the best girl in the Marvel Universe. Like, the best, I don't mean the best female. I mean, like, the best girlfriend, the best wife, the best counterpart, whatever. Like, that seems to be true love. It would tear me up if I found out that they were just playing with my heartstrings and she actually was just manipulating him the whole time. Because, Professor X did teach these guys to resist mental dominations, but, she's one of the 5 best telepaths in the Marvel Universe. So I'm speculating on that too much, guys. What I'm pointing out here in IvX 0 is that they gave you all the background you could possibly need. Also, they had a way to actually, she recorded the mental illusion of Scott being there. So, man, she's got, that's either somebody screwed up or they're saying that she's got more powers than what she actually has, because making a mental illusion, a machine shouldn't be able to see that. So that is pretty impressive. Anyway, whatever she's doing there, she's going around, she's actually making her rounds, and she's messing with Magneto and messing with Storm even, trying to, say that, it's been about a year. I'm figuring about a year that this has been. They're saying that 6 months ago is when the whole thing went down. The Scott being killed, the illusion of Scott being killed by Black Bolt, and actually a little bit longer than 6 months ago. So they go through the 6 months, and that's simply supposed to be, for a comic that's coming out bi-weekly, that's really weird to see. But regardless, 6 months in the past, Beast started working very closely with the Inhumans, in particular ISO, to try and find some kind of a cure. What they finally came up with was Beast said to Queen Medusa that The Teragenesis will kill most mutants, but it affects each and every one of them differently. So we're not just looking for one cure. We're looking for a cure for every individual X-Man. Holy crap, could it seem more bleak than that? It's like, well, I want to take care of myself first, but the interesting part about that is, here's a little foreshadowing, that means that we are clearly going to keep a couple of X-Men, right? We're not going to just get rid of all the X-Men. We're going to keep Storm. We can't get rid of Storm. All right, we got to kind of keep Beast because he provides a little something. One of the 10 smartest people, one of the 8 smartest people originally, in the Marvel Universe, huh? Maybe we'll keep old man Logan, all right? We'll keep a couple of these people, but we're not keeping everybody. Oh, we're going to keep young Cyclops also. We got to keep young Cyclops. He's in the Champions. It's one of the best comic books that Marvel's producing right now. So we're going to keep some of these guys. So he'll find the cure for some of the people, but he won't be able to find it for all of them. And eventually, yeah. So... also, the Terrigen Cloud seems to be depleting at a faster rate than it should, all right, according to Natural. So he's putting little detectors all over the place. He put one up in the Savage Land, and they're trying to figure out where it's depleting the most. And he had some kind of a nightmare once the Terrigenesis Cloud somehow passed by the Savage Land. Or at least he had an illusion that it happened. Something happened, I'm not quite sure, but he just remembered all of these crazy events that had happened to the X-Men in the past, and possibly some coming up in the future, because I didn't immediately recognize every single one of them. Maybe it's just the way they drew it, I'm not sure, but he got a foresight of something, and that's pretty wild. That's sick. So... maybe, you know what? Maybe he's part Inhuman. Who knows? Something like that happened with Quicksilver earlier, yes? So Beast goes and tells Queen Medusa that this is what the deal is, and she almost immediately goes and reports to the Queen doesn't report to anybody. And she takes that Queen role way more seriously than Black Bolt ever took his King role back when he was the King of the Inhumans. So she goes and she... I don't know, just explains, whatever. She essentially queenly reports to everybody and says, listen, here's the deal. Beast is not going to be able to fix this. And eventually the X-Men are going to attack us again. We will not initiate that attack, but we need to be ready immediately to counterattack when they attack us. Because remember, this is crucial. This is crucial. The Teragenesis cloud is not just a cloud that blah, blah, blah. All of that, yes, and there's a deep religious, spiritual part of that Teragenesis cloud. It's part of their creation process. Like, imagine the book of Genesis in the Bible to the Jewish people and to the Christian, and Catholic people. That's a floating book of Genesis, just kind of, hanging around, right? Like, that's when your life really begins. So, yeah, guys... they give you so much in this comic. There's so much. It is so worth the measly, standard cover price that they're asking for a double-sized issue, number 0. So absolutely, if you could grab this, go out and grab it, read up on all the fine details. Oh, by the way, Beast was actually watching and listening in. He was eavesdropping a little on the Queen giving that, and he was a little shocked to hear that, but I don't know why he was. But guys, this seriously, like this, I know that we're talking about people with superpowers, but, the reason why the X-Men hate the Inhumans, I know, the X-Men have been with us forever. Guys, the Inhumans have been with us almost just as long as the X-Men have. They just simply haven't been as popular, okay? I love the X-Men. They're here, right? They're right here. But I'm not just an X-Men fan. I'm a comic book fan. I'm not just a Marvel fan. I'm a comic book fan. So... don't think I'm taking sides when I'm doing this. No. What it is I'm taking the side of the comics and simply saying that this is the story that's being, given out. Which is why in issue 0 is taking, 10 minutes to give out, an entire explanation. But the mutants in here are being written to view the Inhumans the way that humans view X-Men. And the humans view the Inhumans the exact same way. But now the X-Men are looking at the Inhumans the same way. Guys, we're talking about two different, groups, the Inhumans over here and the X-Men over here. And they're viewing each other differently. The Inhumans are more powerful than the X-Men. We're talking about, I'm going to give you an example. Karnak. Karnak didn't have the Terrigenesis on him. He never had the Terrigenesis on him. All of his powers, all of his abilities are natural. And that's the thing that's so amazing about this guy, because that's all Inhumans before they go through the Terrigenesis. You know, you look at Mosaic, issue number 1 and 2, which I did reviews for. Here's a guy who was like the premier basketball player in the college divisions. And he was an Inhuman, but the Terrigenesis, the Terrigen Mist never came to him yet. And then when it came to him, all of a sudden, then he had power. So Inhumans are naturally, even before the Terrigenesis process, are naturally more powerful. They're all like a form of Captain America, right? Even before they get these incredible powers. So yes, Inhumans always have been written to be much more powerful than the mutants. So the mutants have been fighting a losing battle from the very beginning, because they're not going to be able to go head to head against the Inhumans. You could try it. It's not going to go well for the mutants, you know? Sorry. But they're viewing them this way because they have very strange customs. So everything that's going on, when you look at what's happening right now in the Ultimates, Ultimates Volume 2 right now, issue 1 just dropped. Last week I did a review for that. When you look at Jessica Jones, issue 2 just dropped the week before. I did a review on issue 1 and 2. And you look at all the things that are happening in these comics, and you look at what's happening in several of the other comic books as well, including Civil War. The Civil War 2 that is happening right now, I'm reviewing them also. Like when, you know, they went forward and they met Old Man Logan, and he drops that bomb that, oh yeah, all of this happened. New Jersey looks like Arizona because the Inhumans left, because Iron Man pushed her too far. We don't know who Iron Man pushed too far. We assume it was Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, but it might not have been. Might not have been at all. So it might have been, what was the name? Amara, who, you know, in the Invincible Iron Man comics, the old version of it, now the Iron Man comic is, Invincible Iron Man is Riri Williams, which I don't know, right now doesn't have anything to do with Amara, but she is in the infamous Iron Man comics with Doctor Doom. So all these comics are actually, you know what they say with Marvel, it's all connected. They really are taking a lot of these, they're a lot more concise than the Rebirth comics are right now. Rebirth, you could read 2 or 3 different comics lines and you're good. You know, unless you want to read individual stories. If you want to know what's happening in the Rebirth, just read a couple of, you know, choice comics and you're good. Here, you've got to pick and choose which comics you're going to read, because several of them are all tying together to make something impressive. And honestly, right now, Spider-Man, The Clone Conspiracy, seems like it could very well have something to do with why the Marvel Universe could or would go into either Old Man Logan or Marvel Zombies, or both. There's so much connected right now. It's insane. And I'm so happy to be alive and be a comics fan right now. And this issue is giving me a good idea of what's about to happen. I love, it's like the difference between kinetic energy and potential energy, right? You pull a rubber band back, you know that's potential energy, because there's so much energy inside this thing, and the second you let it go, oh, that's going to hurt. That's going to be some crazy kinetic energy. So this issue is a big, gigantic rubber band being pulled all the way back to its furthest and looking at you dead between the eyes, and you're thinking, this is going to hurt. And I can't wait. So guys, go ahead, check this out. Stay tuned to Comic Book University. Subscribe below. Comic Book University is tuition free. You can't beat that, as Enzo Amore would say. Anyway, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.